Facebook. We are Uncanny Lab Limited. The we being Fuad and myself here. You probably recognize our faces. But we got today joining us Linda from Just Ask Linda. Linda, what do you do? Let's inform our audience a little bit more about you.
Thank you very much, guys. Pleasure to be here. So my name is Linda Dent. I'm based in Johannesburg, South Africa, and I have a business called Just Ask Linda. I'm a business coach with a particular emphasis on strategy and planning. I have something called the GLEE method, which I incorporate into all of my coaching programs. And the word GLEE stands for grow, learn, empower, and enjoy. So all four of those elements come into my coaching or the coaching experience that I give to my clients. I work with small businesses, the business owners themselves in particular, working through all levels of business acumen, including things like a SWOT analysis, basic cash flow planning, understanding how to balance your team, your time, and the money aspects of business to be able to grow to a place where you can experience glee. And
Three
that's
of the
in
things
a
that
nutshell what I do.
three of the things that stress me out the most.
Yeah.
Money, team, and time. Yeah.
Oh, I'm freezing up here. So that's really cool. I mean, we've worked with a bunch of through the networks we've, and it always fascinates me what you guys do and just how much tech plays a role in that. Like, how big is tech in your business?
Well, interestingly, it's something that I've been aware of. And first of all, if we look back to pre-COVID times, one of the aspects of my business in particular, but many others, coaching, was do you go and meet people at a coffee place and then have your engagements and have your discussions over coffee, maybe breakfast, maybe lunch? And always I found that I needed to take notes, right, of the conversation that we were having, make some notes. And so I'd always have a book on the one side and then my plate of food or my coffee over here. And it wasn't the most efficient way, although you were connecting with people in person. So when COVID came around, it actually was a catalyst for me to go right online, use Zoom. So that was the first sort of foray into technology that I would say I took. I needed to learn about Zoom from scratch, and I went through some of their videos and I learned very quickly because at the time I was both the president of our local BNI chapter, which is a networking organization, and the president of the Rotary Club, which is a service organization. So I had to help take those groups of people online and make it interesting and so forth, and
Don't worry, I'm still learning Zoom.
and learn everything about like backgrounds. Like I've got one on now. This is not my house. So it's just a background. To learn about backgrounds, to learn about how to just type your name in, and so certainly Zoom was the first big foray into technology, if we're not counting the cell phone and the laptop as that we've all been familiar with for a very long time. That was the start of it. And then I do this thing where, and I share this with clients. I do this thing where I say, what am I really good at? What am I really strong at? Let me do those things. And then what are those things that have to be done when you run your own business, but you are not that comfortable with? You can do them because maybe you have to. You haven't got the money to employ people to do them for you. But what are those things? And at the beginning, I think it was the beginning of last year, I listed quite a few. I don't really like doing cold calling. I don't really like having to type up these notes after the meetings. I don't really enjoy too much social media, right? You know, I get overwhelmed by social media because I'm in a different sort of generation. But I write these things down and then say, the next question is, well, if I had the money or to be able to pay for these, can I outsource these services? So you'll see where I'm going with this, guys, in a minute, because it doesn't sound like technology. But you outsource your services, maybe social media marketing, maybe someone to do your website. You know, if you're not terribly creative, maybe someone to make those phone calls on your behalf to get the leads. And so I started to think about those. But the second question was, if you, or part of it was, if you don't have the money, the resources right now to outsource these services, what technology is available for you to still do it yourself, but do it faster and better and more efficiently? And that's, you know, that's sort of where I started thinking about what technology is out there to help me.
That's
Yeah,
that's
and
that's, that's
go ahead.
amazing, right? I was just going to add, Justin, that last decade we really wanted to get everything online. We wanted to access everything. And Linda, you went through that journey in a very compressed within 2 years, from access to wanting to work intelligently.
Mm,
As you said, first it was a learning process. Zoom, you had to learn so fast, and then you immediately realized that there are opportunities to actually work smarter, faster,
mm,
more intelligently, and then you were in the journey of pursuing that. And that's basically the evolution of cloud that we saw happening 10 years ago. We wanted access of data. If you had multi stores, we wanted a database that everyone could access at the same time. And that was basically what digital transformation was, putting everything
mm.
to cloud, migrate. Last few years, we actually saw opportunities when we really unlocked, we meaning data, and we saw potential of, so many possibilities of, and that's the intelligent part. How can we do more and more smartly?
Exactly.
And and I think, like you were talking about general access, I think people want access tailored to them now. You know,
Yeah,
not just I want stored data from across the country. I want what affects me right now in this moment. And I think that's where technology is becoming more personal, especially since the start of the pandemic.
agreed.
Yeah, exactly. So um, I was actually just watching a video about the metaverse today, which is
Ooh,
just like boom, like what is going on there? I get it on a, a, a prop, you know, on let me say, a general level. I get what it is, but specifically how that's going to work is a bit of a mystery still for me. But what I think, a message that I would give to a lot of people who might watch this today or some other time, is just to be open and explore the options that are available to you. I think we're all familiar with apps, right? So we can all these days go onto our phones or laptops and download apps that help us in one way or another. I've always I'm going to tell you how I came across bluecap. But first, I'd identified that note taking was the main issue. So I've got hundreds of these books, right? Little notebooks. And I quite like making notes. It's something I do. I still like physically writing with a pen, right? I still like doing that. But what then has to happen is you have to transfer that into an email, into a database, into, you know, you have to put it somewhere where you can really fully utilize it. Otherwise, you've got to go flipping back through the pages to find the information of the last meeting you had with your client, or, you know, the last meeting you had with your supplier. And so that transferring of information manually, which we did in the old days, but people are still doing it today, is what I'm saying. Understand you can do that much better these days with the technology that's available to you, but you need to explore it. So I realized this was one big area where I was wasting a lot of time. It was taking me a lot of time between client coaching sessions to capture this information, and then write an email and then follow up and do all, and then put it into my CRM system. And so it was too much manual stuff, and it was wasting a lot of time, and time that I could be, earning revenue, actually
Absolutely.
coaching someone. So I went on the lookout for options available. I thought about a few different kinds of options. A virtual assistant you could do a recording. The virtual assistant could transcribe it and type it up for you. But that's only one part of it. What I was looking for was something that did all of it, or almost all of it, for me in an accurate way, right? So I knew about transcripts on different platforms, and my experience with it was that it was wildly inaccurate. There was very poor word recognition, very poor grammar. The content and the context of the conversation was not captured in a good way. I tried something, I'm going to mention maybe a competitor, but I tried something called Fathom. And Fathom they were very supportive, actually. And I gave, I did what I do with you guys, right? I give them feedback and say, this doesn't work, this does work. What about this? Can it do this? And so some development. But I haven't used it for some time now. But at the time, it just wasn't doing what I needed it to do. It wasn't doing enough. So I stopped using it and I reverted to my original way of capturing the information myself, because I'm more accurate, right? It takes me longer, but I know what I'm writing about.
Absolutely.
And I've always been very good at spelling and English language. So it was important to me that all of this is correct. And when I communicate with someone that is correct, you can't have spelling errors amongst your email, because people lose some respect for you. Or that's my opinion anyway. So you guys are in another network with me, and you've made this offer of use bluecap, try it out, see what you think, and let us know. So that kind of offer just spoke to me. I went, well, absolutely, bargain. Let me try it out, because it's exactly what I'm looking for. And here's the little man. He's so cute. So that's part of it as well. I just love how cute he is, because it's like blinking and nodding his head while taking notes. And I thought, let me try it out. And from the very first, I was impressed with the accuracy, just of the transcript. I thought, this is amazing. There's a transcript here that I've told like almost everybody that's seen this bot that he's 90% accurate. He's still got a little to learn about some interesting, lesser used words. And one of the languages we use in Africa, he has no clue what that is, but I get it, right? Because it's all about the programming and then the learning. So he's very accurate. And that was what I was looking for. But what I've got is so much more, because what you've developed, and I still feel it's almost, I know what artificial intelligence and machine learning is, but it's almost like magic to me, is that he's able to translate that into a summary, a list of tasks, a whole statistical picture of the kind of conversation you've just had, how long you've been speaking compared to your other participants in the meeting, if people were late or not late. So it's giving you so much more than just the transcript. It's telling you you're talking too much, or you not being inclusive, or this meeting is, these people are always pitching up late to these meetings, including maybe yourself. So it's telling you something that you can then integrate back into the business and improve your communication and improve your own responses to what a customer is saying. But more than that, I mean, I've got the video recording if I need it, but the video recording is not something I often refer back to because I remember what was said. It's then just being able to take what you've had in summary and just whop off an email saying, "This is what we talked about, Mr. Client or Mr. Supplier. It's here." And all I do is change one or two words, maybe just add something, maybe change, it to warm regards or something, and then push the button and it's gone. Now, all of that, which used to take me maybe 45 minutes to an hour after every client meeting, is now only taking 10 minutes.
Excellent.
So that's why I get so excited about this little blue bot.
We love hearing stories like that because it's hard to quantify exactly how much time it saves. We have a ballpark estimate, but it's nice to see, real workflows and especially from someone so detailed.
Yeah.
To see that you could take that from 45 minutes, distill it down to 10 and still get the level of detail that you need. I mean, that makes us so happy.
I'm glad.
That's amazing. That's truly amazing. Thank you, Linda. Now,
No problem.
now you said that it definitely reduces time, but ultimately, have you been able to find more time for your enjoyment, according to your?
My glee, yes.
Yes.
More glee.
100% Fuad. I've got the secret, right? So I've got these secrets
Awesome.
to glee. I know, the growing and the learning on an ongoing basis, being open to explore new avenues is so important. Not just in the technology work or across millennials, but it's really important for people who've come from 40 years in business. That I've been working for 40 years, guys. Like, no, not quite as much, 35 years. So I'm dating myself. But for 35 years, I've been working. And, if there's many people with a story of we started with a desk and a chair and what we called an in tray and an out tray. So whatever business you worked for, that's all you had, and information or communication was either in person, over a counter, or through a letter, or a telex, or a fax. Now, these are things that maybe you guys have never heard of, but they were technology in the time, right? So the fax
Yep.
and the telex, and then the big mainframe computers existed, and we still did data capture then. But there was this huge mainframe that I remember working on, and I was learning. That you don't just write everything; you can type some things into a computer, and then you can get information back, so you can retrieve it, right? And it's exactly the same thing we're talking about today, but technology just improved that, as those 30 years have gone by. I never forget in the 90s, early 90s, leaving work to have my baby. And I spent 8 months at home with, just getting myself out of the working world. And when I left, I still had this in tray and out tray thing and a telephone. When I came back, there were laptops, mouse, this thing. I had no clue what to do with it. Like, what do you do with this? I just wanted to, and there's things going all over your screen. So I had no clue what that was. And then you had cell phones soon after, and so on. Then the internet hit the scene. So I remember the computers before Windows. Before Windows, when it was still when you still had the
The
what do they call
386.
it?
What used to call them? The operating system 486
Yeah,
or something.
that old
DOS.
operating system where
And
you
then
would
before, so right after DOS, it was like Windows.
Oh,
DOS.
like
Yes,
Windows
DOS.
3.1?
Yeah,
Not
yes,
even before Windows. It was DOS based.
DOS,
So
right,
you were almost like
Ooh,
it was
command
writing
line.
code. You were
Yep.
writing code to get a statement or something. I
right.
even learned. I
Programmers
even
still
learned.
prefer that.
Yeah.
I even learned COBOL at university, and I learned how to
Ooh,
create a program, but like with sheets and sheets and sheets of paper that they were like
amazing.
fed through a machine. And we had these dot matrix printers. So I'm just reminiscing, but it's incredible how far we've come and how fast things are moving. And so, back to my grow and learn, I've always gone, what is this? How does it? I don't need to know how it works to the nth degree, right? I don't have to do your guys' jobs. I am the user. I just need to understand how to use it and what it does for me, and into and that's what is useful for me. I don't have to write my own code. I don't have to develop this bot and understand artificial intelligence to its nth degree. I just have to know it works, and that's how I can use it. And I think
And
that's what you're,
it's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's really that simple too. It's we've
yeah.
tried to make it as easy to use as possible. So that there is no barrier to entry like that.
No,
We don't want our users to be programmers. If they wanted to be programmers, they could be, I'm sure.
but it's one of
But
those things I don't
that's
want to do. I don't want to do
yeah.
that. I know what it is. I know what
I
it is.
program. I don't even want to do it.
I don't want to do that. That's way too much effort, and that would be that would be so time consuming for me to try and write code or learn how to write code. It would just be so time consuming, and it would not generate glee for me. I would, it's just not exciting for me. It's exciting for you. And I think what's important is you coming up with some exciting ideas and a tool that people can use. And I'm just coming from that other perspective, saying, yeah, I don't need to understand code. I don't need to be able to write it. I don't even have to know what AI is. I just think he's a cute little bot. He turns up. He writes better notes than I can, and that's all I need to know. And I hope that for other businesses out there that use a Zoom or Teams or Google Meet or whatever other platform there is. He works with all of them, right? So you just have to integrate into the software, and that's a very straightforward process. It sounds difficult, but it's very straightforward. And so I found everything very easy to do, guys. And I think that's what you've done brilliantly, is you've made it so simple, so user friendly, so effective, and at the same time cute, so that we like it and love it. It doesn't look anything like a DOS thing.
One thing I really appreciate, Linda, you mentioned that's a very, very, very profound insight is that it allows you to conduct a better meeting, better inclusive meeting.
Mm,
Uh, and that's powerful. The dimensions and the intelligence we're putting together to tell you the story of how the meeting went, and for one to consume that, not
mm,
by contributing the same time of the meeting, which used to be the case, right? If you had a 2 hours meeting, one would need to watch 2 hours if they missed it.
yes.
And not
I
only
didn't
that,
want to do that I didn't want to do.
right?
It's like, why would I want to do that?
And not only that, when you watch something that's been recorded in the past, you may actually need to go back and forth and
Mm,
ultimately invest much more time than the actual time the meeting actually required you to be there.
exactly.
Um,
Mm,
and the other thing is, as you mentioned, inclusive meeting. In today's context, in the hybrid world, the new complications of our workspace arrangements and so forth, it is important to have a second eye that kind of can keep and watch for us to help us deliver better experiences to our participants.
yeah,
As you mentioned,
yeah.
engagement, sentiment, and also a few new things that we have been working on and pushed some of those things out. are understanding implicit risks, opportunities, so that you don't,
Yes.
miss out on
Yes.
certain things, or you're not leaving more potential opportunities, um, and then so forth and so forth. So I think you're absolutely right. There's so much that AI can do, and we as end users, we don't always have to know how it works. As long as we know
Mm.
they're safe, it's working for me, I'm happy too.
Yeah. So I also, what I like is there is continuous development, right? It's not here you go, Linda. We built it. You use it. Cheerio. Good luck. I hope it fulfills all your dreams. Because let's be honest, it doesn't fulfill all my dreams yet. It's taking care of one part. I know that there's some parts of what's available in the software tool that I haven't used yet, like the CRM. I'm very excited about the highlighting of business issues and risks and possible tasks that you want to put either into your calendar or your to-do list. I also write down to-do lists like every day. That's just part of part of my psyche. So I do these things, but I know they can be more effectively done, and I'm going to certainly spend more of next year exploring the other parts. It does take some effort sometimes, right? So, if I've got a whole CRM database somewhere, I need to bring that in. And if there's an easy way for me to bring that in, I would love to hear about that. I don't want to have to start from scratch when I've already got a database, right? But the
Absolutely.
database, let's be honest, is like an Excel spreadsheet, which most people have an Excel spreadsheet somewhere, because you can filter it and sort it and extract little reports and do a pivot table and things like that. And that kind of all of that works very well for me. But it's
The
also fairly
Excel will
slow.
stay for a long time. And
Oh
yes,
yeah.
Yeah.
if you are in data, if you are, if you value data, Excel will be in your list of tools. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what we have and we are continuously working on is expanding our out of the box integrations. Right now, we have integrated with Jira, we have integrated with Zoho. We have integrated with TCC, and few other integrations are already in the list of availabilities. And our soon in the list, Salesforce is one of them, HubSpot, and more in the
Okay.
next 2023.
Awesome.
The
Okay.
Excel, good news is you should be able to already segment certain data within our platform, and you can actually export them in CSV, which is directly usable
Mm,
in
mm.
Excel. Um, but yes, absolutely great idea.
That
We
helps. Yeah.
also
Yeah.
plan to take data for marketers to
Yeah.
enable them to activate campaigns based on
Yeah.
segments in our platform. So, for example, let's say you sell product A, and now you
Mm,
can actually combine whoever is interested in product A
mm,
and who also showed positive
mm,
sentiment, let's say,
mm.
during our last call. Combine those two dimensions, now send it to Google Ads and give them a value, $200 a coupon value, so that they can
Yeah.
sign up for if you're selling cars, for example.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those kind of segments you'd be able to combine that actually the insights that you trigger from conversations, your
Yeah.
products and other data, boom, sent to
Yeah.
Facebook or AdWords and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm quite excited about those developments as well, and excited to see how we move. So I am the kind of I'm not the uh, I know in technology, like if the next iPhone came out, there's going to be a queue of people who camped out for the 36 hours before release. That's not me, right? I will never do that.
Right.
Not interested in being the first mover. That is not what I do. Not even interested in being the fast follower and trying to catch on to the metaverse as soon as possible. I'm that sort of person who sits back and watches what happens.
Amazing.
Um,
Which says a
and
lot
then
about bluecap.
and
You have given an opportunity means we
yeah,
must have had that kind of
yeah.
foundation. Fair
And
enough.
then I analyze it because that's one of my key strengths. And then I ask questions like I did, right? On a couple of occasions, we've got, luckily I have that to be able to. It's not just a frequently asked questions on the website, or I know that saves time in the long run. But I've really appreciated you guys happy to get on a call with me so I can say, what about this? How does this work? Why doesn't that work? Are you looking at something? Because that is, I'm involved then in making it work better.
It's
And
amazing.
I really, I'm happy. I also don't just accept things, because I'm something, one of my strengths, I'm called a maximizer. And a maximizer just has no chance with just accepting something as it is. It's like,
Mm,
or someone as it is, which is probably why I'm a coach, right? You can't just have
mhm.
someone and say, "Oh, you're good enough." No, 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 no. You can do more. You can do more. So you can plan better. You can strategize better. You can implement better. You can get a better team. You can have more glee in your life. You. Uh, it's like a compulsion of mine to say it's got to be better. So I'm not the one who starts something off or implements it or creates it or has the ideation part of it, but definitely someone who can maximize something.
Amazing.
And
Absolutely.
that's where I utilize my strengths to do that. And I'm happy
And
to
we
do it.
appreciate that. We love
Yeah.
that kind of feedback. You're one of our power users, and we love hearing your feedback. Yeah, we've got a solid core group of you that have really helped um,
Nice.
iron out a lot of the development of this, especially from the user perspective. Because we do our user testing and user plans,
Hmm,
but I mean, nothing really goes to plan until it's out in the field. So it's really
exactly.
valuable feedback we get from customers like you.
Thank you.
Um,
Yeah.
That's
Glad.
amazing. So, Linda, just a few key takeaways I wanted to, as we are probably running towards the end time, is as you were suggesting, be open, number one, go explore. And number two is grow, learn, and then enjoy.
Yeah.
And so, amazing, amazing framework. I love that.
all
Awesome.
right, Linda. Well, we've had you for about half an hour now. If anyone watching wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
The best way, there are many ways, right? But I would say the best way is on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my preferred social media platform. You will find me as Just Ask Linda, both a company page and personal page, and lots and lots and lots of information there. So LinkedIn is the easiest one. Within LinkedIn, you will find all my other contact details. So it's much easier just to say Just Ask Linda on LinkedIn,
Perfect.
and you'll find me. Or you can just Google Just Ask Linda, because I've done quite a bit of work on
Ooh,
getting myself
SEO.
SEO right. So you should pick up LinkedIn, Facebook, maybe YouTube, the website, etc. All just by googling Just Ask Linda. Thank you.
Ooh, trying to
Perfect.
increase your direct brand traffic. I love it, Linda. Thank you.
Fuad is originally a marketer. He wasn't always a tech guru.
Right.
I should teach SEO. So that right away rang a huge bell. That's a huge
Right.
strategy, Linda, you were doing, which is engineering your brand traffic, brand keywords,
Yeah.
volume that directly impacts your ranking. So that's a bonus. Recommendation tip today.
I've learned, right? It's not my field, but I've learned.
Well, in that
Perfect.
case, search for all of us: Fuad Mia, Justin, Bluecap, and Linda Dent. Talk
Listen
soon.
and learn. That's the way to do it.
Alrighty, everyone. Thanks for listening. Good
Great.
one.
Bye, everyone.